the Steelers today signing Larry Ogunjobi to a 1-year deal. Not sure how much this contract is worth yet, but Larry Ogunjobi now playing for his third AFC North team. And this is a player who was supposed to sign with Chicago Bears in the offseason. He could not pass a physical. And so he has also visited the New York Jets, but he initially had a 3-year contract worth more than $40 million with the Bears. But because of his right foot injury in the playoffs for the Bengals last season, he didn't end up signing with the Bears. And now the Steelers end up getting him to help fill the void left by Stephon Tuitt. I love this signing, and Ike, you lent me your psychic abilities. This is something where we told you about weeks ago that Ogunjobi could be a possibility to the Steelers. I spoke it into existence, Ike, but go back and listen to the tape. It's out there. He's one of the names that we mentioned when we talked about when Stephon Tuitt retired, who could fill the void. We now know it's going to be Larry Ogunjobi.
Yeah, so we was basically talking about two players. It was Ndamukong Suh or it was Ogunjobi. Them was the two we were talking about when it came down to filling the void with Stephon Tuitt. This what I do like about Ogunjobi. He can play anyone on the line. And to play in the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, which they still run a 3-4, but I do think they're going more towards a 4-3 because that's just home for Coach Tomlin. He can play defensive end or he can play defensive tackle. And they did a 1-year deal, and the 1-year deal is let me see how that foot is. Now, since you've been shuffled around the AFC, we want to see for ourselves. And we need depth. So you get a veteran guy on the 1-year deal, or hope and wait and see. If he does ball out this year, I'm sure the Pittsburgh Steelers, if he wants to come back, he will re-sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he might, you just never know. Mitchell Trubisky might put in a word or two with Ogunjobi on coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. But we was looking for depth at that defensive line position. But not only depth, we was looking at depth for a guy who can play anywhere in that 3-4 and help out the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's what Ogunjobi can do for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now for this 1 year.
Like, this is a very easy joke. This has just got to be an absolute doomsday for Mason Rudolph, because here he goes into the offseason, the only Steelers quarterback on the roster. They end up signing Trubisky, then they end up drafting Kenny Pickett, and now they've got Larry Ogunjobi, who, remember, was involved in that 2019 on-field brawl between Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph when he was a member of the Browns. Larry Ogunjobi, I'm talking there. So I know there's some beef there, and I'm sure reporters are going to ask Rudolph and Ogunjobi about it. And honestly, it happened so long ago, I bet it's long lost history. But it's an easy joke. I had to point that out there. But man, what an offseason it's been for poor Mason Rudolph, because now he's got a quarterback competition, and then you sign a player who was suspended as a result of his involvement with that on-field brawl 2 years ago.
They say pressure build diamonds. So we've been talking about Kenny and Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah. You just never know how Mason Rudolph might come out this training camp. So that's a good thing about competition, though, Mark. And for that quarterback position for a very long time, Pittsburgh really never had no competition. The competition was who was going to back up Big Ben. That was the competition. So whoever wins this battle in training camp and during the preseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they deserve that, because you got Mitchell, you got Kenny, and you got Mason.
Yeah, amen, Ike. And with Ogunjobi, too, I like his experience in the division and understanding what each of the different teams bring to the table. And it's like, once his time is over at Pittsburgh, is he going to complete the full length and end up playing for the Ravens at this point, because he's played for 3 of the teams in the division, Ike? But again, considering that the money he was due to make in Chicago, and I see that the Steelers get him for 1 year, we'll see what that figure ends up being. I'm sure it's going to be lower than what Chicago would have offered. You could be talking about a real steal for Pittsburgh here. So listen, glass half full perspective, I absolutely love this signing for the Steelers, in all honesty. And again, I wanted them to bring in someone, a veteran presence along that D-line, considering that Stephon Tuitt retired. Don't want to put too much pressure on the rookie DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. But now it's like whoever the hot hand is, you can keep all of the front 7 fresh, specifically along the interior. Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward, Leal, Tyson Alualu. You've got bodies now, Ike, and whoever's playing well, keep them out there on the field. If you need a breather, there's someone who's capable and demonstrated that he's capable, ready to come in too. And so, again, Alualu and Tuitt, two players that the Steelers desperately missed last season.
Yeah, you definitely want to build a wall. And with Ogunjobi, you want to have depth at that part, especially that D-line, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's just face the facts. They didn't do well in that rushing defense at all. Now, when it comes down to sacks, they sack kings. They will get sacks all day, just as TJ Watt and company. But when it comes down to stopping the run, there was almost dead last on stopping the run in the NFL, and that's something you don't want. So you get a stout and you get depth at that defensive line. There's two places you want depth at now in the NFL. You want depth at the D-line and you want depth at that secondary. So that's what I'm glad the Pittsburgh Steelers did. They wind up getting a young buck coming out of Texas A&M as a rookie. They wind up signing Larry. Then after Larry, you wind up, having Cam Tuitt retired. Tuitt was a monster on the defensive line. So that's just if I'm a GM, that's the two spots where I'm looking towards. I'm looking for guys to get to the quarterback, which I have. I'm looking for depth to help stop the run. And I'm also looking for secondary guys, which they do have now. So, yeah, that's the two main. But, yeah, Pittsburgh, this was a need the Pittsburgh Steelers needed to fill in the offseason, and they did exactly what they needed to do.
Ike, I'm going to put this out there, too. I'm saying this right now. It's June 21st saying this. It's going to be a big year for Alex Highsmith. I honestly think he's going to play like at a Pro Bowl level because I think he's going to reap the benefit of the attention TJ Watt garners, the attention Cam Hayward garners. Ogunjobi is a reliable veteran now. Alualu's back. He's a reliable veteran. He's going to have some one-on-one scenarios and almost what we saw how Bud Dupree reaped the benefit in his final 2 years in Pittsburgh. And again, I also think about what's my guy who ended up getting traded to the Chiefs, edge rusher for the Steelers. Yeah, anyways, Steelers wound up trading him away. And I think that speaks volumes about the confidence that they had in Alex Highsmith.
Correct.
So I expect big things, almost like how I predicted a year ago that Deontay Johnson would be a Pro Bowler going into 2021. I'm going to put it out there. I think Alex Highsmith's going to be at that level. Let's have a Pro Bowl season, Alex Highsmith. I'm manifesting it, Ike, putting it out there.
I agree.
All right, Ike. One other thing, too, Ndamukong Suh's still out there. I saw that he's tweeted now that he'd like to continue playing. Raiders are a possibility. It doesn't look like he'll be back with the Buccaneers, but Ndamukong Suh still out on the open market, too. I know he's, on the other side of 30 at this point, but a team for the right price could still get a very, very good and violent defensive lineman in Suh as well. So curious to see where he winds up. I was kind of hoping he would be with the Steelers, but I like this deal with Ogunjobi. Curious to see what the figure is on Ogunjobi's deal as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Don't be surprised if you see Suh with the LA Rams. I think at this point, and what Suh has to understand, Suh got to understand his price might be too high. Suh have made a lot of money with the Detroit Lions, with the Miami Dolphins, and also with the Tampa Bay Bucks. So I don't think the money part is an issue. I think Suh would greatly benefit, and I think the LA Rams would benefit as well. Suh coming in and being on alongside with Aaron Donald.
Good luck to opposing quarterbacks. When this happens, we're pulling the clip. Psychic Ike Taylor again. I can't believe I didn't think of this. I'm mad you beat me to the punch there, Ike.
Yeah, now you feel how I feel sometimes.